You're standing in a dealership lot, the smell of new leather hitting you, fluorescent lights gleaming off that brand new sedan you've been eyeing for months, and the salesman's giving you that $1 million smile while you sign the papers. You drive off feeling like a champion, right? But here's the thing that nobody tells you in that moment of glory. The second those wheels roll off that lock, you just lost about 20% of what you paid. 20% gone, just like that. And you know what the wildest part is? That's not an accident. That's not some unfortunate side effect of buying a car. That's actually the entire system working exactly as designed. And somebody's making serious money off that loss. And it's definitely not you. But before we dive into this rabbit hole of automotive economics that's going to completely change how you think about your next car purchase, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because what I'm about to reveal is stuff the auto industry really doesn't want you connecting the dots on, and you're going to want to stick around for every single second of this. Hey, this is Mark, and you're welcome to AUTOSAYS. Now, let's talk about the most expensive mistake millions of Americans make every single year, and I'm willing to bet you've probably made it too. See, we've been conditioned to think of cars as assets, as investments, as symbols of success and achievement. Your grandfather probably told you to buy a reliable car and take care of it. Your parents probably stressed about getting you into something safe. But here's what none of them told you, because honestly, most people don't even realize it themselves. Modern car depreciation isn't just about wear and tear anymore. It's a mathematically engineered wealth transfer system that's been perfected over decades, and understanding it is literally worth tens of thousands of dollars to you. Let me take you back to 1908 for just a second. Henry Ford rolls out the Model T, and something revolutionary happens. This isn't just about making cars accessible to regular people, though that's huge, but Ford accidentally creates something else entirely, the concept of automotive obsolescence. Now, Ford didn't set out to invent depreciation as we know it. The Model T was actually built to last, which is why you still see some chugging around at car shows today. But his competitor, General Motors, saw an opportunity that would change everything. In the 1920s, a guy named Alfred Sloan at GM had this brilliant, diabolical idea. What if we made people want new cars not because their old ones broke down, but because their old ones became unfashionable? This was the birth of the model year, the annual refresh, the new and improved marketing cycle that continues to this day. Sloan literally invented planned obsolescence in the automotive industry, and your wallet has been paying for it ever since. But wait, it gets better, or worse, depending on where you're sitting. Fast forward to today, and the average new car loses about 60% of its value in the first 5 years. 60%. That's not a typo. If you buy a $40,000 car today, it'll be worth maybe $16,000 in 5 years, even if you baby it, garage it, and treat it like royalty. Now you're probably thinking, okay Mark, but that's just how cars work, right? Things lose value over time. And sure, that's partially true, but here's where it gets interesting, and this is where you need to pay very close attention, because this is where the real money gets made. The depreciation curve isn't natural, it's manufactured. Think about it like this. Why does a car lose 20% of its value the instant you drive it off the lot? The car isn't physically different than it was 30 seconds ago. It hasn't degraded, no parts have worn out, nothing has functionally changed, but the value drops like a stone anyway. Why? Because dealerships and manufacturers have created an artificial distinction between new and used that has very little to do with the actual condition of the vehicle and everything to do with profit margins. Here's how they profit from your loss, and this is going to blow your mind. When you buy that new car, the dealership makes money, obvious, right? But then something magical happens for them. That car you just bought, it gets classified as used immediately, which means the dealership can now sell you, wait for it, warranties, service packages, and eventually another new car by convincing you that your old car is outdated, unreliable, or unsafe compared to the latest models. Meanwhile, that car you traded in, they'll sell it on their used lot for way more than they gave you on trade-in, pocketing the difference. But the real genius is in the financing. This is where the banks and financial institutions enter the chat, and trust me, they're making money hand over fist on this whole system. See, most people finance their cars, which means they're paying interest on an asset that's losing value faster than they're paying down the principal. You could literally be 3 years into a 5-year loan and owe more on the car than it's worth. They call this being underwater or upside down on your loan, and it's not uncommon. It's actually the norm for millions of Americans. The banks know this. They've run the numbers. They understand the depreciation curves better than anyone because they've been doing this for 100 years, and they've structured the entire lending system around this mathematical certainty. But here's where it gets even crazier, and I need you to stay with me because this is the part where everything clicks into place. Car manufacturers have another trick up their sleeve, the lease. Now, leasing sounds great on paper, right? Lower monthly payments, always driving a new car, no worries about long-term maintenance. But a lease is essentially you paying for the most expensive part of a car's life, that initial depreciation hit, and then giving the car back right when it starts to level off in value. You're literally funding the depreciation so that someone else can own the vehicle during its more stable value years. The manufacturer gets to cycle you through new cars every 3 years, making money on each new lease, while also creating a steady stream of certified pre-owned vehicles that they can sell at premium used prices. It's brilliant if you're the manufacturer. It's expensive if you're the consumer. And the psychological warfare they wage to keep this system running, that's a whole other level of sophistication. Every year, new features, new safety technologies, new entertainment systems, new efficiency standards, all designed to make last year's model feel obsolete. Your 2020 car works perfectly fine, but suddenly the 2025 model has this new driver assistance feature, and you start thinking, maybe I should upgrade. Maybe my car isn't safe enough anymore. And boom, you're back in the dealership restarting the depreciation cycle. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mark, this is depressing. What am I supposed to do? Never buy a car? No, not at all, but here's the thing. Knowledge is power, and understanding this system means you can actually use it to your advantage instead of being a victim of it. The people who profit from car depreciation aren't smarter than you, they just know the game better. But now you're starting to see the board too. Here's the secret that wealthy people have known forever. You don't buy new cars. You let someone else take that initial depreciation hit, and then you swoop in and buy a 2 or 3-year-old vehicle that's lost 40 to 50% of its value, but still has 70 to 80% of its useful life remaining. Better yet, you buy cars that hold their value better. And yes, some brands and models depreciate way slower than others. Toyota, Honda, certain Subarus and trucks. These vehicles have depreciation curves that are much gentler because they're known for reliability and longevity. The market knows this, so their resale values stay higher. If you absolutely must buy new, you target these brands because even though you'll still lose money to depreciation, you'll lose less money to depreciation. But here's the ultimate move, and this is what separates the financially savvy from everyone else. You keep the car for a decade or more. See, the depreciation curve flattens dramatically after about 7 to 10 years. A car that's 10 years old might only lose another 10 to 15% of its value over the next 5 years because it's already hit bottom. If you maintain it properly, you can drive it for years during this flat part of the curve, essentially getting transportation at a fraction of the cost. But the industry doesn't want you to do this. They want you on that 3-year cycle, constantly upgrading, constantly financing, constantly consuming. Think about how car commercials never show someone contentedly driving their paid-off 10-year-old Camry. They show excitement, newness, status, keeping up with the Joneses. It's all engineered to keep you in the game. The truth that nobody in the automotive industry wants to admit is that modern cars, if maintained properly, can easily last 200,000 miles or more. The technology has gotten so good that the mechanical lifespan of vehicles has dramatically increased over the past few decades. But if everyone drove their cars for 15 years, the entire industry would collapse. So they've built this elaborate system of perceived obsolescence, financing structures, and psychological triggers to keep you upgrading long before you need to. And here's the final kicker, the thing that really should make you angry. All of this is completely legal and socially accepted. We've normalized throwing away tens of thousands of dollars on unnecessary vehicle upgrades because that's just what you do. But imagine if someone walked up to you and said, "Hey, give me $20,000 and I'll give you basically the same thing you already have, but with a slightly different dashboard." You'd think they were insane, but that's essentially what trading in a perfectly good 3-year-old car for a new one is. The mathematics of car depreciation aren't hidden because they're hidden hiding in plain sight. Every number, every depreciation curve, every financing term is available if you look for it, but most people don't look because they're caught up in the emotion of the purchase, the excitement of the new car smell, the status symbol of having the latest model. The system works because it's designed to short-circuit your logical thinking and appeal directly to your emotions. Fear that your car isn't safe enough, excitement about new technology, urgency from limited-time offers and model year clearances. So here's what I want you to take away from this.
The next time you're thinking about buying a car, pump the brakes, literally and figuratively. Run the real numbers. Calculate the true cost of ownership, including depreciation, not just the monthly payment. Ask yourself if you're buying because you need transportation or because you've been marketed into wanting a new vehicle. Consider buying used, keeping your current car longer, or targeting brands with better resale value. Because here's the bottom line. That car sitting in your driveway right now, it's probably costing you way more than you think, and the only way to stop the bleeding is to understand the game that's being played. The hidden math of car depreciation is only hidden if you choose not to look at it. But now you know. Now you've seen behind the curtain, and that knowledge is worth more than any new car smell ever could be. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best car deal is usually the one you don't make. I'll see you in the next one.